Hello and welcome this month's RC Racing. Well, I'm getting you into practice for the forthcoming Offroad Electric Worlds in Finland, but this month on the show you'll be able to see last year's European Championships from Austria in the four-wheel drive class. We've also got more EFRA action from around Europe and of course all the news, views and interviews which make RC Racing, well, the only TV show about RC worth watching.
Hello and welcome to Thursday here in Austria at the Electric Offroad European Championships. Now you can see behind me, four-wheel drive practice well underway. All the drivers, they've got 6 rounds of practice heats today to get their cars dialed into the circuit and get used to the track layout. We've got 150 drivers again booked in the four-wheel drive class, but there's about 5 it's probably worth keeping your eye on. First up, Reinhard from Germany, the defending champion. He won the four-wheel drive class last year at this event in Spain. He's also the 3 times on-road world champion and made the A final at the Nitro Touring Car World only a few weeks ago. The Speed Passion and SMC powered two-wheel drive car, he managed to get into the A final, but is expecting quite a lot more in the four-wheel drive event. Hupo Honigl from Austria, he was the 2007 four-wheel drive European champion and 3 times European champion at two-wheel drive. He's an LRP factory driver, and after becoming runner-up yesterday, he'll be hoping to go one better today in the four-wheel drive event. Fellow Austrian Peter Pinisch is the 2006 four-wheel drive European champion, in fact won at this very track, so he'll be hoping to repeat that feat with his team-associated car. Lee Martin from Great Britain, the winner of course of the two-wheel drive event yesterday, and he's the current four-wheel drive British champion. He'll be wanting that elusive double with the Speed Passion and Speed Power powered cars. Jon Neumann from Germany, he was the 2004 four-wheel drive champion at just age 13. He's certainly matured as a driver, and after some unlucky finals yesterday, he'll be hoping to put those behind him and go for the win with his LRP powered car.
So here we are looking at the grid. Fastest qualifier Lee Martin on the Tamiya, on the driver's left-hand side of the grid. Position 2, Jon Neumann on the Yokomo. In position 3, Mark Reinhardt, reigning European champion on the Tamiya. Hupo Honigl is in position 4. The Austrian has the Durango. His trademark wiggle and trademark yellow wheels there. Position 5, first of the Brits, Paul Bradby on the Associated. And then his countryman, Neil Cragg, also on an Associated. 7, Victor Wilk, the Swede, back with us again, and sits on the Tamiya. 8th is Simon Moss, another Brit on the Schumacher. And bringing up the rear too, an Associated and a Durango, the Peter Pinisch, the Austrian, and Martin Kreck, the German. That's how they line up on the AstroTurf. So who will get the start? Lee Martin already pointing into the first left-hander from pole position. He gets the start, he's away, great grip. And see how he got across to that inside corner to protect his pole position. He leads from Norman in second place. Reinhard, Honigl, as you were from the start of the race. Now, will the Whoops claim anybody? Not in the top 4 at least, as they go over the tabletop for the first time. Fantastic jump by Norman there, and held the car nicely on the throttle in the air as they come round to complete the first lap. It's still Martin from pole position. The rest of the field going through. Remarkably little contact in that first lap, but already the German on the Yokomo in second place, beginning to put a little bit of pressure on our leader, Lee Martin from the UK. Oh, and that looked like Mark Reinhardt there, who was taken out just on the entrance to the tabletop. We saw on the two-wheel drives that that was a difficult corner. See the dampness being thrown up from the back tyres and the front tyres, both driven of course in this particular category. The whoops and the start finish, along with the area they're coming into now, this sort of tabletop area, all covered in AstroTurf to try and mitigate a little bit of the wear that we get. And we've had terrible weather here, very little qualifying done, and again you can see the moisture being thrown up by the tyres. These machines, fantastic power to weight ratio and great grip, being all-wheel drive. So these guys, advantage really to the guys who've run 2 and 4-wheel drive this weekend, as many of them do, because there's been so little practice and qualifying. Still Lee Martin leading then, and if anything he's opened up a little bit from Jon Neumann in second place. And these two, after that little altercation that saw Reinhard slip back, that is Hubert Honeygel in third position as he goes through. So he's improved his position from the grid thanks to the demise earlier on of the German champion, multiple champion, of course. Across the line. That is our leader. And the battle is beginning to hot up for second places. Neumann just sliding the back end of the Yokomo around there as he was trying to get the power on nice and early. They are four-wheel drive, but the balance of these cars still requiring absolute concentration. And like anything else, even doesn't matter how much grip you've got with the power-to-weight ratio that these small machines have, then you can still drift them. And that was a decent lap by Neumann. He's dropped Hubert Honeygel, the Austrian, just a wee bit as they come round to the technical section. The drivers finding this track a good challenge. Not the easiest track to race on. They certainly think would have liked more time, as you can see from the state of the surface there, particularly on the non-AstroTurf areas, that it has succumbed slightly to the weather. And in fact, the organisers should be praised for keeping the track in any kind of condition to race. One or two of the transitions just a little bit difficult. The field goes through there, and we're watching our leader, still Lee Martin, who's been out there from the drop of the flag, or the hoot of the horn, should I say. Tricky little left hairpin there. Easy to try and be greedy and just run round the bottom of it, but you really can't do that. You've got to get yourself nice and straight for that tabletop. And that's a change for third position there. As through comes Mark Reinhard, recovering from that problem earlier on, the German, in the distinctive purple and blue colour scheme. Oh, and he's just overcooked it again, and that's allowed Honeygel to go back through. So the third podium position is what is being disputed at the moment, and that is the battle we're watching. Martin from Neumann, then Honeygel and Reinhard battling it out. At the moment, the Durango of Honeygel there in picture, heading into the whoops. All the drivers seemingly tripling and doubling that. It seems to be the way to do it. You can see from the wear on the AstroTurf that they've got themselves into that groove pretty easily. Now as we're back with the leader, and is that my eyes or is the leader being caught? I think he is. Neumann rather, from Germany. Anglicised his name there, my apologies. Is just for a moment looked to be putting a bit of pressure on Lee Martin there, who's been out from the start of the race. We've seen before, haven't we? Being out there lonely, very difficult to keep the concentration. You've got to set your pace that you can keep your concentration at as we're moving into the final stages. Now, can Lee hold it all together? There's a bit more pressure coming on this final lap. Surely you can't give it away now. Nice drift around the left-handed hairpin, back onto the start-finish line and across the line to take it. So confirmation then that Lee Martin from pole position takes the victory by just under a second from Jon Neumann. In fairness, I don't think Lee was really pushed that hard. He eased off towards the end. Jon just chasing him down, but that looked relatively comfortable. Hubert Honeygel up from fourth to third, had a decent battle with Mark Reinhard. That little accident for Mark, putting him back, briefly regained the podium position, but will settle for fourth. And then the top six made up by Paul Bradbury, and Victor Vilk moves up from 7th to 6th.
Well, we'll be back with the deciding leg of the four-wheel drive A final in just a few moments. But first, let's nip over to Sweden and join Matt, who's at the 1/10th IC Touring Car Euros.
Hello and welcome to the 2010 IC Touring Car European Championships. We are here in Gothenburg. I've been told by the locals I can refer to it as Gothenburg to save my blushes and yours. Well, we're here. This is the world famous Vast 8 track. By the way, going on behind me, look at this. Very regal. This is the opening ceremony, so I'll keep my voice down. back to this. This is the Vast 8 track. It is world famous. They're doing one of the 11 turns you can see. That is the team from Norway. Hello. They're going around the track now. It's 270 meters long. Not that technical, but very, very incredibly fast. There's 2 full throttle straights, so there's plenty of room for crashes. There's also plenty of room for excitement and smoke and all the stuff that we came here for. People we came here to see, well, there's a lot of participants, but some of the notable ones: Christensen, Andersen, Teemu Leinu, Adrian Bernston from Norway. Just seeing him walk around there, he holds the current fastest lap. It's still only practice, so don't read too much into that. Gilles Groskamp, Alexander Hagberg, Robert Pietsch, we've been mentioning his name all summer. It's very star-studded. Oh, one final name, of course, Mark Reinhard. Did all right in the Worlds, didn't he? Hey, not bad. Anyway, let's just enjoy a few more moments of this beautiful opening ceremony and stand in respect. After a wet, dry weekend, the clouds began to draw in before the final and threatened to rain, but fortunately, it wasn't to be. So with a dry start, the race began, and 3 corners in, Teemu Leinu came together with Robert Pietsch. This also allowed the front 3 to break away. After just 5 laps, Mark Reinhard was a shock exit from the race with engine problems. The notorious driver, who many thought could win this, was out. After breaking through the chaos of Teemu and Pietsch's collision, Alexander Hagberg, driving the green number 10 car, continued to pressure his way up the field. 2008 IFMA World Champion Daniele Lelassi from Italy flipped, flamed out, and despite the efforts of his mechanics, his race was also over. As Hagberg continued to pressurise Teemu Leinu, Pietsch had his own problems with his body shell. Midway through the race, and Martin Christensen had well established his lead, capitalising on the earlier problems of TQ driver and current champion Dirk Wisniewski, who had fallen some way behind. Other drivers having consistency problems included Austrian Manuel Huber. In the final third of the race, lower-end drivers seemed to find more speed than the guys at the front, resulting in a few scares like this one, with Frank Andersen coming together with the leader, who was in fact several laps ahead. The soon-to-be former European Champion's trials continued as he just couldn't get the car running right, and he was soon to finish in 5th place. But as the race came to an end, Robert Pietsch finished in 3rd place from 4th on the starting grid.
Yeah, it was really hard to take the car until the end, and I really take it easy for the engine and also for the tires, but it didn't work out perfectly, so I can do a little bit better, but I'm happy for the 3rd.
Biggest climber was without a doubt Alexander Hagberg. Battling from 10th on the grid, he takes 2nd place.
Yeah, to begin with, I was quite surprised to get into the final because I had a disastrous semi-final. But well, in the final I started off quite safely and started to preserve the tires. But in midway through I was at 2nd place, so I was quite happy with that, even though I had a flame out before my 10th fuel stop. But in the end, I'm very happy with the car, and the engine was very good, and the teamwork was also very good, and 2nd place is a very good result for me.
And the man who would become 2010 European champion is Martin Christensen.
At the beginning, I found my car very fast, so Dirk he wasn't at the fastest pace at that moment, so I could overtake, and yeah, I took it from there.
The European champion, Martin Christensen.
Go, go, go.
And now it's back to Austria for the deciding leg of the four-wheel drive off-road electric European Championships. And with your race commentary, it's John Hindhoff.
So the field knows it must put some pressure on poleman Lee Martin on the Tamiya. Already won the two-wheel drives this weekend and made a great start in the four-wheel drives by winning the first of the contests here. And he's already got a good start in the second one. As I say that, he makes a slight mistake. Through comes Reinhard, but no, he's taking it back. My goodness me, the German took every opportunity there, slipped into the lead for what? Half a length of the straight. But it looks like Lee Martin's got up into second. Reinhold is just down into third for the moment. I think that's Bradbury coming through. Paul Bradbury from fifth on the grid. He's just dropped back into third though, has he? Yes, he has. So it's Martin from Reinhold, from Bradbury, from Jon Neumann in fourth position now. So he's gone down from second place. Honegel's dropped the position from fourth to fifth. Those top five just breaking away from the rest. And the battle is really on for second place at the moment. Mark Reinhard, the German, he doesn't need this. He wants to be out attacking the leader. Remember, only fourth in the first heat. He's really got to win this heat to have any chance of taking this contest to the third and deciding event. So they come through the technical part of the infield. And up behind him now, that's Jon Neumann again. So where's Bradbury gone? Bradbury has disappeared. He's not there at all. Through goes the leaders. Now that is very interesting because I didn't see where Paul Bradbury on the Associated disappeared to. He was briefly up into second and third. And there's a mistake by Reinhard. Just hit the side of the track as he came down off the end of the whoops a tiny bit early. Hit the right-hand side, and that's allowed Neumann back into second place. Now that's very good news for Neumann, but there's the gap between first and second. This is Bradbury coming through again, back into third place. So there's been more carnage just out of our view. At the bottom of the whoops, we just can't quite see on the camera, just about there, and the cars just disappear for a moment. Now that's Neumann in second place, the black rear wing giving that one away. The leader, you can just see Lee Martin ahead of him. I'm not sure he's closing him down, you know. Lee Martin was able to just judge his pace perfectly in the first heat. As Bradbury, this is the battle for third now. Bradbury has got back ahead of Neumann, of Honegel, excuse me. So that is the battle for third place as they go through third, fourth and fifth. But we keep our eye on that. In fact, Honegel's gone through. Honegel has gone through and retaken that position, I believe. Yes, that's Honegel. So he's back up into third. But look at the gap. You can't even see the leader, or indeed Neumann chasing down the leader. There's the leader just in the background. Where's the second place buggy? There it is, going through. So now Honegel, Hupo Honegel, the Austrian on the Durango, is trying to get away. And believe it or not, that looks like Reinhard to me, fighting back again as he did in the first. A huge off in the background, which may have been Paul Bradbury. And that's going to cost a lot of time. Well, Mark Reinhardt's going to be kicking himself because he had the opportunity to chase down the leader, who is still, by the way, Lee Martin, who's out in front. But he's been embroiled in these battles in the field, and the time is ticking away, and so is his chances of adding to his Hall of Championships. And Lee Martin at the moment is on course to do a 2- and 4-wheel drive double, and there he is. Jon Neumann is catching him though, as he did in the first heat, but is there enough time left? It was a perfectly paced first heat from Martin, the pole sitter. Has he done exactly the same again? He's definitely being caught. Watch in the background, there is the yellow flash of Jon Neumann on the Yokomo. But surely Martin is not going to throw this away. He could take a second and take it to a third and deciding heat, but if he wins it, it's all over as far as the championship's concerned. As we check back and look further down the field, there is third position, way back, Hupo Honegel, and he's on his own now with Mark Reinhard dropping away in fourth position. And this is as spread out as I've seen a race like this, and that's because of the pace that's been set at the head of the field early on by Lee Martin. He's done it again. He's destroyed a world-class field. Gone out there and just ratcheted it in the laps in the early part at a really fast pace, gets himself clear, and then settles into a nice rhythm. Really fantastic tactical driving by the Brit on the Tamiya, and it looks to be a delightful double for him this weekend. Two-wheel drive in the bag and four-wheel drive surely there for the taking. He's going to have to be a little bit careful because such is the pace he's set. He's about to come into some lapped traffic, and we're talking top quality drivers here. No one's had any real problems, and you can see just ahead of him there are, it's not fair to say, back markers. Last lap, he's paced it nicely, comes across, takes it, and there you see he wears the number 1 on the car, and number 1 as far as the results are concerned, our winner, Lee Martin. Well, convention dictates that Lee Martin dropped out of the final heat. It was a dead rubber as far as he was concerned. It was Mark Reinhard that won that one, and that gave him 3rd position in the overall standings. Hubert Honegal was 2nd in the final race, and that gave him 4th. Ahead of them, Jon Neumann with 2 seconds confirms himself in 2nd place, but no doubt about the leader. 2 wins from the first 2 heats, and also the two-wheel drive. That's a brilliant weekend. 4-wheel drive, 2-wheel drive, it's all in the bag for Lee Martin.
The week's been fantastic from word go. Everything's felt good, haven't had to change much. The speedos from Speed Passion and Motors have been amazing. The cars from Tamiya have been unbelievable. So I couldn't ask for anything more.
You're 2nd place in qualifying, 2nd place in the finals. The first couple of finals you got close to challenging Lee for the victory, but he was that bit too far in front.
Yeah, I pushed very hard, but impossible to overtake him. I'm very happy. 2nd place, very good. And my mechanics make the car perfect.
I'm pretty happy with 3rd place. Starting 3rd, finishing 3rd, it's pretty good for me.
And talk us to that last final, which you eventually managed to win after an awful lot of position change and some great racing we saw there.
Yeah, I knew I need to be 2nd. If Jörn could have won the final, I finished 2nd just in front of Pupo, just to finish 3rd of all. So I passed Jörn, I think, in the first lap, and then I was struggling in the triple-double once, so I was 2nd, but I still knew if I keep this pace I can finish 3rd of all. So yeah, in the end it got pretty good, so I made no big mistakes and just kind of keep it under control.
Yeah, my team is amazing. Like Mark and Victor and me are good friends, and Tony and Rossi and Pumpy will help us out. It's just amazing.
Well, that's all for this month and the end of my off-road practice, but next month in RC Racing we're off to the Czech Republic for indoor touring car action, and of course lots more from the world's #1 RC show.